Hi, good day everyone. We are Padong Martinez and Serrano, and we are here to present our study titled Computer Society Digital Hub and Archives, or CHDHA for short. This system was developed for the Computer Society Organization of PUPTGIG, and it aims to automate and organize their digital records. And for our presentation, it is divided into five chapters. Chapter 1 discusses the problem and its settings. Chapter 2 presents the review of related literature. Chapter 3 explains the methodology used. Chapter 4 shows the result and discussion. And finally, Chapter 5 provides the summary, conclusion, and recommendations. First, let's talk about our client. Our client, the Computer Society, is an academic student organization under the Bachelor and Diploma in Information Technology programs at PUPTGIG. They were chosen because their operations heavily rely on documentation and coordination, yet their processes were still manual and a bit unorganized. The CHDHA system addresses this by helping them manage documents, officer information, and meeting archives efficiently, replacing their scattered record keeping process with a centralized digital system as a solution. This solution, the Computer Society Digital Hub and Archives, is a web-based platform designed to automate and preserve the organization's digital operations. It integrates key modules such as document archiving, officer management, meeting records, and organizational updates. The goal is to replace manual record handling with a secure, efficient, and centralized digital system. So, why did we come up to this digital platform? Before SHDHA, there were no centralized system for managing or storing files, meeting documents, and records. This caused difficulties when new officers assumed positions since important information was hard to retrieve. Files were often scattered across personal drives or group chats, leading to data loss, inconsistency, and lack of continuity in organizations' operations. And as for what we have in mind, our objectives are to improve accessibility and organization of digital files and to enhance communication and coordination among members. Also to ensure data security and proper archiving. And lastly, to evaluate and of course, the system usability and effectiveness in supporting administrative functions.
Good day everyone. I'm Lance Cabeltangtus Martinez. I'm here to explain the review of related literature. For this part of the presentation, we selected three main case studies that guided our system's development. That being the DepEd Digital Rights Program, CHED ICT Program, and the Digital Hubs for Organizational Management by McKinsey and Company. For the DepEd Digital Rights Program, it promotes digital archiving and ICT-based record keeping in schools, but its adoption is still limited mostly to learning materials. That's why our system applies the same principle of digital storage and accessibility, but focuses it on organizational records specifically for the Computer Society's internal documents and meeting files. CHED's initiative integrates management systems within universities to improve efficiency. However, many student organizations lack the infrastructure or resources to implement one. The CSDHA addresses that gap by providing a lightweight, web-based platform that any student organization can operate without complex setup or technical maintenance. And finally, McKinsey's research explains how digital hubs streamline collaboration and data integration. But these are usually applied in corporate environments that have advanced IT support. Our system adapts that concept to an academic context, simplifying it so student officers can manage events, records, and communication through one unified hub. Overall, these studies collectively emphasize the importance of digital archives, information management, and integrated communication, which became the foundation of our system's design. In order to bridge the gaps and relate to the needs of the computer society, we use these references to fulfill the requirement and needs of the client and the community. That is all for the chapter 2. Thank you for listening. I'm here to explain the methodology part of our system. For our research design, we used the Agile methodology because it promotes flexibility and continuous improvement through user feedback. The descriptive developmental design was chosen to identify existing issues in an organization and develop a practical system that directly addresses those problems. The tools that we use for the development are Laravel, PHP, and MySQL. They were selected for their reliability and compatibility in building secure web systems, while HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap ensured a responsive and user-friendly interface. The ISO or IEC 25010 model was applied to evaluate the system's quality in terms of functionality, usability, reliability, and performance. We use these tools to ensure that the standards of our system are high quality. As for the respondents, the Computer Society officers and advisors were chosen because they managed the organization's operations. Purposive sampling was used to ensure that the feedback that came from the individuals were directly involved in the system's workflow. We conducted surveys, interviews, and usability testing in order to gather both quantitative and qualitative data. These instruments were selected to comprehensively assess user satisfaction and system performance. And to process the computation, we used the 5-point Likert scale to quantify satisfaction and evaluate how effective the system met the user's expectations. That is all for the chapter 3 of the studies. Thank you very much.
And now, we are here in our chapter 4. We're gonna talk about when, who, and where testing. Testing was conducted during the final development phase. After completing the system core modules, participants including officers, advisors, and selected members, the actual end users of the system. This testing took place online using the web host version of the CHDHA platform. We use 3 testing methods, such as survey, interview, and usability testing. First is survey, to measure satisfaction using the Likert scale. Interview, to collect insights and experiences. And of course, usability testing, to measure task success, completion time, and errors. The focus was on system functionality, usability, and efficiency, especially on archiving officers, management, and meeting documentation modules. This is the result summary. The survey result showed an overall mean of 4.60, interpreted as very satisfied. From interview, three key themes emerge. First, efficiency, accessibility, and transparency. And for our usability testing result summary, it achieved an 85% task success rate, proving the system reliability and user friendliness. And here, for some addition, we have a feedback from the Computer Society or our client. The officer and members gave positive feedback, stating that CHDJ made document handling and meeting tracking faster and more organized. They also appreciated the modern interface and real-time updates, which improved their overall workflow compared to their previous manual processes. Problem findings and recommendations. We identified three main problems addressed by the system. First, delayed and lost records solved through efficiency. Untranslated file addressed through accessibility. Untracked officer activities resolved through reliability. For recommendations, we suggest improving mobile accessibility and regularly updating the system for better long-term performance and possible institutional expansions. And now, I am happy to say that we are here on our final stage of our presentation, the conclusion. In conclusion, the Computer Society Digital Hub and Archives successfully streamlined record management and improved communication within the organization. It proved to be reliable, accessible, and efficient platform that supports modern digital operation within the academic environment. But before we finally end this presentation, let me present to you the calendar of activities for the actual implementation. I am now here to discuss the implementation details of our system, the Computer Society Digital Hub and Archives, also known as CHDHA. This section focuses on the calendar of activities that guided the actual implementation of our project from orientation to deployment and finally to the maintenance. The main purpose of this calendar is to ensure that their system was not only developed properly but also introduced and maintained effectively. We divided our implementation procedures into three major phases: orientation phase, implementation phase, and maintenance phase. First, the orientation phase. The orientation phase serves as the foundation for the entire project rollout. This phase ensured that all users and stakeholders understood the purpose and functionality of the system before we launch it. On October 7 to 8, 2025, we conducted our system orientation and demonstration. During the activity, we introduced the CHDHA to the Computer Society central body, including the officers and members. We presented the system objective, its core feature, and how it can serve as an all-in-one digital archive for organizational record, officer information, announcement, and meeting documentation. The goal here was not only to show the how system worked, but also to emphasize its benefits, particularly how it will replace the old manual process of storing and retrieving documents, which was often time-consuming and disorganized. The following day, on October 9, we held an user account distribution activity. Here, each officer and member received their login credentials and were introduced to their respective access level, such as admin, officer, or member accounts. This was an important step because it allowed them to familiarize themselves with the system user interface and their specific permissions within the platform. Then on October 10, we facilitated a feedback gathering session. Participants shared their initial experience after using the system as and provided suggestions for improvements. Some pointed out our interface adjustments, while others shared ideas for additional functions that could make the platform more efficient. Collecting this feedback early helped us make small but meaningful refinement before we officially deploy the system. Overall, the orientation phase built a clear understanding among users and helped prepare everyone for the overall system full-scale implementation. Moving on to the implementation phase, this is where the actual deployment and operational use of the CHDHA system began. The system deployment was completed on October 11, 2025. During this activity, we uploaded the project files to both local server and an online web host, making it accessible to users both on campus and remotely. This ensures flexibility and accessibility key factor for the Computer Society daily operations. After deployment, from October 12 to 14, we proceeded with the content upload and database setup. In this stage, we transferred existing Computer Society data such as officer profiles, meeting minutes, event reports, and archival documents into the system database. This process involved coordination with the organization secretary and archivist to verify the accuracy of the uploaded records. Once the content was populated on October 15, we conducted a user training session. The purpose was to provide hands-on guidance for the officers and members, especially those handling administrative functions. We demonstrate how to navigate the officer section, manage meetings, archive, update announcement, and interpret platform analytics from the dashboard. Following this, we conducted a system testing and validation from October 16 to 18, 2025. This step was critical in identifying and resolving any bug or inconsistencies in the system. The quality assurance team worked closely with the developers to verify that module functionality was correct, including logins, data uploads, search features, and data retrieval processes. Once all tasks were completed and validated, we officially launched the system on October 20, 2025. The official launch of CHDHA was a milestone for our group and the organization. During the event, we presented the system to the Computer Society Central Body and formally introduced it as the official digital platform for managing the organization, records, and archive. The successful completion of the implementation phase was demonstrated that the system was fully operational and ready for a real-world use by its intended users. After deployment, we entered the maintenance phase, which focuses on ensuring the continuous functionality and sustainability of the system. In November 2025, we conducted a post-implementation evaluation. This involved gathering feedback from officers and users after several weeks of actual use. The responses were essential in identifying minor issues such as user interface improvements and potential features enhancement for future updates. To safeguard the organizational data, we implemented a regular system backup schedule done every end of the month. This ensures that all files, records, and archive stores in the system are safely duplicated and preserved in case of technical failures or accidental data loss. Lastly, the technical support and update stage is ongoing. Starting from December 25 onward, our development team remains responsible for monitoring the system, fixing any technical issues, and introducing new updates to enhance performance and user experience. This includes minor security patches, UI adjustments, and continuous improvement based on user feedback. These maintenance activities guarantee that the CHDHA system will continue to function efficiently and remain relevant to the computer society future operations. The implementation details and calendars of the activities for the CHDHA system showcase a well-structured and organized call-out process. From orientation to maintenance, each phase was carefully planned and executed to ensure a smooth transaction from the organization manual record-keeping methods to a fully digital and centralized system. The orientation phase built awareness and understanding among users. The implementation phase ensured that the system was properly deployed, tested, and launched. The maintenance phase continues to ensure that the platform remains secure, functional, and sustainable. Through these steps, the Computer Society Digital Hub and Archive has successfully achieved its purpose to serve as a reliable, accessible, and innovative digital platform for managing the Computer Society records, officers, informations, meetings, and archival materials. That concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and we wish all the best for the success of our system.